20 years ago, Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt took storm chasing to the next level with the classic disaster film Twister, which revolved around a pair of dueling exes trying to find a new way to warn the general public of upcoming tornadoes. This week, we're going to take on this classic film as we've got modern special effects and a new idea. So strap in because you're about to get blown right off the Fujita scale. It's time to remake Twister right. Hello, my fellow cinematic architects, and welcome to Remake This Movie Right. We are a member of the Hollywood Outsider Network. Listen to episodes of Remake This Movie Right on iTunes where reviews are appreciated, your podcast app of choice, or just visit the website at RemakeThisMovieRight.com. Remake This Movie Right is a show that takes an original film that has an actual remake in the works, generally, figure out what still clicks and what doesn't, throw a little bit of humor at it, and then we determine exactly how Hollywood should remake it. So by the end of each episode, we will have the remake ready to roll for Hollywood execs and present it to you in movie trailer form. We are here to tell Hollywood how to remake this movie right. I am your host, Aaron Peterson, and joining me today, you might remember him from recent episodes Ghostbusters, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and Pet Sematary, and he's the only bald guy to chase tornadoes on a motorcycle, which is why we call him the Smooth Rider. Brian Williams?
Is that what they call me?
Yeah, that's what they're calling you now. You might remember him from recent episodes of The Howling, Last Starfighter, and Ghostbusters, and he's so extreme, he chases tornadoes exclusively in hot air balloons, which is one of the many reasons we call him High Heinritz. Troy Heinritz, what's up?
Oh, I got to go, Julia. We got cows. Hello, my bovine friends.
God. You've just been waiting to quote Twister over and over and over?
All night long.
He's been sending me messages, Brian, where just random quotes from the movie for no reason whatsoever. None.
He's like, we got to start 5 minutes late. It's like, I'm going to drop a gas tanker on your freaking head.
Well, with your all night long thing, I thought you were about to start singing Lionel Richie or something. I don't know.
No. Lord. We are doing a pair of special episodes honoring 2 anniversaries of some of the best summer films that maybe could use a fresh coat of paint. The other movie was Top Gun. For this one, we are celebrating the 20th anniversary of Twister. Twister came out May 10th, 1996, $494 million worldwide. Almost $500 million for a movie about weather.
Was that whether or not we should go see it in the theater?
Oh, wow.
Oh, you definitely should have.
Good job. Good job. Man, do you guys remember the first time you saw Twister?
Yeah, it was in Target. It was on the shelf, and I thought it would be a really great game to play with my girlfriend in college.
Oh, boy. Brian, we got dad jokes going on.
Wow. It's bad when somebody trumps your dad jokes. I actually do remember this. I did go see this with some friends, and this is one of those landmark mid-90s movies that really set the bar high for, in this case, special effects, kind of like Jurassic Park and a couple others. But this was one of those landmark movies of the mid-90s, and this was one of those where you just walked out going, wow, okay, I get an idea. I mean, coming from middle to South Georgia, we didn't get a lot of tornadoes. So this really kind of gave us that insider thing, if you will, on what it's like to kind of be around the Midwest.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's pretty scary up here.
You guys are like in the Chicago area. You don't get tornadoes up there.
We get pictures of them.
True story. True story.
I get pictures of them.
You get pictures of wind.
What's your true story, Troy?
True story. I was actually at the state fair up in Wisconsin, and we had one of these like giant F3, F4 type tornadoes come through the fairgrounds. So as we were running, it literally does sound like a freaking locomotive is coming up behind you. And we didn't have flying cows, but there were flying chickens.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, you could see the tents just getting ripped up right from the ground as you're trying to run for the exhibition hall. It was pretty darn scary.
Did you
I'm
cry?
sorry, Julia. I've got to go. We've got chickens.
It's not as dramatic, is it?
No, it's not.
Okay. Well, like I said, we are remaking the 1996 classic Twister. The film starred Academy Award winner Helen Hunt and the guy who played Chet in Weird Science, Bill Paxton, as the Extreme. And it also had the most upbeat version of Philip Seymour Hoffman anyone's ever seen. It's insane that was the same Philip Seymour Hoffman. It follows a bunch of storm chasers as they try to hunt down some tornadoes and use high-tech cream corn cans to gain some technology to better predict the tornadoes, to hopefully help people predict tornadoes at a quicker rate, to go from, I think it was 3 minutes to 15 minutes is the dream. And can I just say one more time that it starred Academy Award winner Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton. How?
Well, at the time, it was not Academy Award
That's
winner.
true. It was before she won her. It was like Mad About You, Helen Hunt. That's what it was.
Okay, at this point, Carrie, I can't ever say his last name. Elwes?
Sure.
Carrie Elwes? Yeah.
For the Princess Bride, right?
Right.
That's all everybody knows him as. Unless you're a Psych fan, and then he's Despero.
And why, may I ask, did everybody in the Midwest have Southern accents?
Well,
and very, very, very bad Southern accents.
These are all really close. Well, Carrie Elwes is like British. This is all supposed to be like Oklahoma and in that area. So they would be close to a Southern to Texas and stuff, right? It's pretty close.
Which is technically not Midwest. That would be like Great Plains / Southern Plains.
Yeah, so it's not really Midwest. Midwest is where we're at, Chicago area, not here. That's why we still have a house.
Okay, when you hear somebody going, I'm sorry, Joe, I just don't think that tornado is going to be coming this here way, you're not thinking Oklahoma.
No, I'm thinking that's what Brian sounds like.
You're thinking exactly.
Northern Texas.
You're thinking that sounds like Brian's trailer park conversation.
Okay, well, let's do some trivia, and then we'll get into what we love and don't love about this movie. And the funny thing about Twister is it's one of the rare movies you could remake pretty much any way you wanted, and I don't think people would care. And it's not because people don't love the movie, right? It's because it's just it's really, people went to see the tornadoes. That's really what people love about the movie is the tornadoes. So let's do some trivia. A recording of a camel's moan was slowed down and used as a sound of the tornado, So that's odd.
It's funny because that's one of the couple of trivia things that I dug up was that actual animal noises were actually played backwards and mixed together to make these tornado noises. They wanted to recreate this sucking sound, and that was part of the special effects of that. So that was
part of the suck zone.
It's part of the suckiness of it.
No, suck zone, not suckiness.
Suck zone, my bad. And I don't mean suckiness as in a bad thing. I mean suckiness as in an atmospheric thing.
Well, I don't even know what just happened. All right, well, the first movie released on DVD and the last movie released on HD DVD, the dead format. The instrument package used in the movie Dorothy is an homage to the instrument pack real tornado researchers attempt to place in the path of tornadoes, Toto. In an early scene when Philip Seymour Hoffman is sitting on a lawn chair, he lifts his leg in the air while laughing. His genitals were fully visible for a split second. It was edited out of the DVD and VHS releases, so don't run to your screen trying to see it. It's just not there anymore. But it was leaked from VHS screeners sent to industry professionals. Yeah, so you could see his Hoffmans. You know what I mean? No, nobody really.
You can definitely see more.
The project was
hashtag dad jokes.
Yeah, boy. The project was
That's how a dad joke is done, my friends.
The project was a co-production between Universal and Warner Brothers. That's why the drive-in marquee shows Psycho, a Universal release, and The Shining, a Warner Brothers release. And there's a lot of speculation that Bill and Joe could not have survived being in the F5 tornado at the end of the movie. While this would be true if the tornado was still at F5 strength, as the tornado dissipated, shortly after it hit them, the winds may have already been greatly reduced and the debris cloud lessened. That's an awesome coincidence. So theoretically, if that was the situation, they could have survived as depicted. Good to know. Do you guys know what the Fujita, is it Fujita?
Fujita.
Fujita.
They actually mentioned Fujita.
So you actually say the J?
Sure.
All right.
They actually say the J, Fujita. Yeah.
All right. Well, at Meg's house, Billy comments the Twister is measured through the Fujita scale. And it was named after Tetsuya Fujita in collaboration with Alan Pearson. Shut up, I don't need to get it right. Created in 1971, it was a scale to differentiate the power of a tornado. So 40 to 72 miles an hour is an F0. 73 to 112 miles an hour is an F1. F2 is 113 to 157 miles an hour. Wow, that's really fast. F3 is a 158 to 207 miles per hour. F4 is 208 to 260 miles per hour, which is considered devastating damage and apparently incredible damage is considered more than devastating because an F5 is over 161 or over 261 miles per hour. Holy crap, that's fast. Boom. There you go. You just got a weather lesson. This is like weather.com now.
All right. So apparently,
I didn't know what you said. It went by so fast. I didn't know what you said.
It was like an F5 over your head.
Thank you, Jim Cantori.
What I thought was really cool though was that the town of Waukeeta, Oklahoma, in the series, it's actually like the downtown area was completely demolished by the film crew. I heard, and they actually then when the movie was all done, they rebuilt the downtown for the town. The movie studio did. I thought that was actually pretty cool, and then they actually left them keep the fire truck that was in the movie.
So what happened? Say that again. What happened?
So the movie crew comes in, right, and they completely demolish the downtown area for the F5 that blows through Waukeeta, right, but goes through Aunt May's
as
house.
Hollywood people tend to do, and just come in and like a plague of locusts and just ravage an area.
Yep, completely firebomb the whole place, right?
Gotcha.
And after the movie was done, the movie studio actually rebuilt the entire downtown from scratch.
Wow.
That is cool.
That is very, very cool.
And actually, Michael Crichton is credited with writing the script.
Yeah, and he has at no point is there a dinosaur. I was very disappointed.
None.
Missed opportunity.
But do you know what? Did you know that the fanboy icon Joss Whedon actually reworked it and submitted it, and he was the one that submitted the final draft on his wedding day.
Yep, I knew that one actually.
He also got paid $100,000 a week to fix it.
A week or total?
A week.
Man, that's a lot of money.
I mean, Michael Crichton and his wife, who was actually the co-writer with that, got paid like $2.5 million to write it just to have somebody else fix their freaking flaws. What the crap? God, I want that job.
Here's a
Look,
$2
we're going to give you a
million
couple of half. Here's a two. Man, you know what? We'll round it up to $2.5 million. Look, you're good about 75% of it, but we're going to bring somebody else in and finish out the other 25%. Oh no, really? It's okay. Trust me, it's okay.
Hey, at $2.5 million, he earned it at 75%. I mean, remember the baseball players only have to do 25% of the work and still get $2.5 million.
Wow, that's a good call. All right, well, let's get into what we love about this movie. We've been talking about it for a while. Let's talk about why we love it. But first, here's a clip from the original.
Okay, we got sisters.
Right now.
We're right under the flanking line.
I realize that.
If we can't attack this thing from the south, we're gonna get rolled.
Watch.
Julia, I know you're upset. You just gotta breathe. We both just gotta breathe.
Cow.
I gotta go, Julia. We got cows.
I think that was the same one.
It's still funny, too. All right, guys. Well, what do you love about this movie? What are your favorite moments, personal stories, whatever? What do you love about this, Troy?
For me, the greatest thing about it is I just love storms and weather ever since we had that encounter. And being able to know that you were going to try to see the inside of a tornado, I just thought that was the coolest thing growing up. Came out in 96, right? Just finishing college, and you got this real interest in, rocks and waters and atmosphere and science, and it was just kind of cool. And you're like trying to make this stuff happen in the lab on the college campus, and then the movie comes out and you're like, damn, what would the inside of this thing look like? And the fact that someone has to actually come up with that as a special effect, having never seen the inside of a tornado, I think they did a pretty good job. I think what we see at the end of the movie is pretty darn close, and I thought that was just damn fascinating.
Did you find it terrifying? I knew some people that saw it, and
oh man, I pissed my pants when that scene happened. I was like, they're not gonna get out of this thing alive.
And they found the only pipe in the nearby vicinity that will keep up when everything else is being ripped to shreds.
That's right.
It's very convenient.
Yeah, everything else is as bald as I am, but yet that one set of pipes is strong enough to hold them down.
Yep.
And not let them get sucked up in the freaking nastiness.
It's got to go down at least 3,000 feet.
Yeah. I mean, kind of the same thing, really. I mean, and we're both, or all three of us, are speaking at the time of watching this for the first time. Mm-hmm. So not in our current state. But the ferocity of the tornadoes was just something that we really hadn't seen before. I mean, of course, since then the bar's been raised. It's, but even now it still sort of works outside of the special effects aspect of it. The more of the story part of it, the team dynamic was really one of the things that really worked for me with this kind of motley group of scientists and techies that are really almost more of an extended family than just some people who's trying to score the big tornado, to get some sort of recognition, a la Carrie Elwes's group, or I guess opposite of them. Mm-hmm. So that whole team dynamic, that whole group of just all these different crazy, quirky personalities that are just banded together to say, you know what, we all have this common goal. We all have these certain talents that push us towards this goal, and that's what we like to do. That kind of worked for me.
I've always been fascinated with tornadoes. I think they are just insanely appealing to watch because they just seem to, they come out of nowhere and they can destroy an entire community in a matter of minutes. And it's real wrath of God type stuff. And I remember seeing one with my grandpa when I was probably a teenager or something. And we saw a tornado and we stopped and watched it like you're not supposed to do. It's cool to watch. It's something awesome to behold. And it's also terrifying because, as much as you would like to be right up there and see it, you'll probably die or get severely injured if you try. So you never really can do that. And the idea that a movie could come out and have the effects, because we finally were at the time where the effects could be achieved to make it look like a real tornado, not like a Lifetime movie or like many movies that came after this.
Or like anything that showed up on the History Channel, Discovery Channel, Learning Channel.
Siffy, anything like that, yeah.
Siffy, right.
Yeah, there's no sharks anywhere near our tornadoes. They're just regular old tornadoes. Seeing that brought to the big screen, seeing it on the big screen, and actually having a story that I thought was fun, because the tornadoes are amazing for the most part. I mean, a little dated here and there, but the movie is about storm chasers, and it really feels like an action movie because it just keeps going. I mean, you still get a little bit of character stuff, and you get a little bit of downtime between tornadoes because apparently they know everywhere tornadoes are. Thank God they've got the Extreme there who can he can do a little rock thing with the wind or whatever, and it's going left or whatever he does. The weather whisperer. For the most part, you're always going. You're always chasing the next tornado, and it was so exciting. And Troy's absolutely right. That last shot where you're finally seeing the inside of a tornado was like finally seeing the shark in Jaws. It's like, wow. Holy crap, that's amazing. Even if it just destroyed 45 homes, and killed poor Jonas and his truck. I don't know, man. I was in shock and awe after that movie. I remember I was on such a high, like, wow, that was the coolest thing I've ever seen. And Helen Hunt, I think, is a great actor. Philip Seymour Hoffman, a good actor. I thought Dusty was a fun character. It was just a really fun movie about destruction.
And you take the cow out of the equation. Some of the actual like special / practical effects through the course of the movie were actually really interesting. Like the tanker truck that blows up is pretty real. That could happen. Driving through the house was a little bit far-fetched, but it was freaking awesome. I always wanted to do that. Just drive up my stairs and jump out the window, Dukes of Hazzard style. That's absolutely totally cool.
Hey, I know this house is upside down, but I'm going to drive right through it.
Why not? And I always thought it was weird that it felt like they drove upstairs but came out the first floor. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there was this weird thing, like when you see the inside part of it, you realize this is probably a set of some capacity. Right. It did have that effect of going, okay, it doesn't feel like we are all outside, even though we're inside and this truck is driving through this house, but kind of a cool thing to come see it shooting out the window.
Memory serves, right? Wasn't the house actually kind of rotating across the road as it was going by?
Yeah, it was.
Like it was. Yeah. So it might have explained how it came out on the more lower level than the upper level.
Oh, look at you doing the math. All right.
Maybe.
So wow, somebody's breaking it down.
Exactly. I haven't seen it since 1996. So
this is the first time you've seen. Oh, okay. Oh, I get it. That was a joke. All right. So what doesn't work for you anymore? What doesn't work for you, Brian? What no longer works for you that did at the time?
Some of the special effects still. It does hold up very well, but for the most part, it does not. I mean, there's especially this like opening satellite scene where it kind of shows this this weird computer animated satellite that just kind of floats across the screen and kind of homes in on the area of the country that we're working in. It's really bad. And a couple of the smaller tornadoes and the water spouts look pretty weak. But I just kind of chalked the majority of that up to it being 20 years old. It just, hey, it was at the time, it was fantastic. One thing that really is funny that you just touched on him about a minute ago was Philip Seymour Hoffman. And his exuberance and his excitement for the job was great, but his creepy, touchy-feeliness with Jamie Gertz was a little bit disturbing.
No.
Any of you guys pick up on that?
I didn't like that whole arc. I mean, as much as I like Jamie Gertz, I think she's a wonderful carryover from the 80s and whatnot, but
sure.
She's just, that whole arc with her was really painful to watch.
If you go back and you watch his interaction with her specifically, he's very touchy-feely of her face. He's always grabbing her hands. He's always touching her. He's always like, come on, you're coming with me. If I was Bill Paxton's character, initially I'd be like, all right, whatever. But then after a little bit, I would kind of be like, dude, you're really crossing some serious boundaries here. You don't need to be touching my girl's face. There's no reason for for your hands, both palms, to be on her cheeks.
But 10 minutes after seeing Dr. Joe, Bill's already going back to Dr. Joe.
I mean, hey, look,
I don't blame him.
with her white wife beater tank top on. It makes me forget a lot of things. I am not going to lie.
Oh, no, I want to point out they both have white tank tops on. She just has something covering hers, and Joe doesn't. So basically, he likes women that wear the exact same shirt.
Hey, the dude's consistent. I'm just saying. Whatever.
He's something. Troy, is there anything you don't like anymore?
Jamie Gertz's character. Not that I don't like Jamie Gertz. I just don't like the Melissa Reeves character at all in the entire movie. It was just such a distraction, except for the part where she's got to hang up on her client in order to say we have cows. That was the only reason she was good in the movie. Other than that, she just completely could go.
Yeah, the one thing I didn't like most about her, so I don't have to repeat what you're saying, I'm just going to agree with you, but exactly that. And I thought she was really a giant stereotype and way too whiny until she finally got strong and then left. That's the only time I liked her character the whole movie is when she finally left Bill Paxton. I'm like, thank God.
Yeah, I mean, she's like, no, look, trust me, I can find my way home. I'm good.
Yeah, she's supposed to be a shrink helping other people, and yet she can't help herself.
Yeah, exactly.
Until she finally realizes it, and it's like, oh, okay, thanks for finally standing up for yourself. Now leave because you're really bringing the movie down.
And plus, why would you want to stay with the guy? He left you in danger every single chance he had. He just ran off with the other lady and left you.
I'm going to leave you with the creepy dude with the ginger, weird sunburned face and stuff, and, I'm just going to throw you off on him every time I got any half of an opportunity.
Yep, exactly. So, I'm sorry, Troy, I cut you off. What other stuff?
The only other thing that really stuck out was that as I was watching it again this past weekend, I'm sitting there going, okay, the Fujitsu scale came out in 1971, and if we backtrack the math to when Joe's dad dies in the opening sequence, I believe that would have been 1969, and they were calling it an F5 tornado in 1969. So just a little scientifical misstep there in the movie, but
a misstep, but then you use the word scientifical, which isn't a word. So
right.
I'd say I was smart. Misstepping here.
Exactly. You can't say here's a line if you're already on the other side of the line, my friend. There's rules. Okay, anything else?
It's just like touching pretty women in white shirts. No, just kidding.
Yeah, well, that's my biggest one is Bill Paxton. And it's nothing against Billy Paxton. I've liked him in a lot of stuff. I think he can be a very fun actor to watch. He's just, for my opinion, drags the movie down. Every time he talks, I'm like, why do you sound like you're too slow to be here? I don't understand. And it just felt out of place, and he just isn't a leading man to me, I guess.
So have either of you been to the Twister attraction at Universal?
Yeah, I've been there. Yeah.
So when Bill Paxton comes on in the pre-show, explaining what's going to happen, I sit there and I look at that and I go, Bill Paxton, you are so boring.
Yes.
Literally, I'm supposed to be excited to go on this ride, and you're like, okay, now you're going to have to make sure you just step on this seat here and walk over here. And it's like, oh my goodness, dude, just smile or something.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. I just thought it was kind of boring. That's all. Just kind of boring. All right, well, that brings
dream, man.
Oh God, Okay,
Yeah,
I don't like
extreme
that.
boredom.
I don't like that. The extreme. I really don't. That was maybe it worked in '96, but it's cheesy as hell now.
Hell, Dr.
Yeah.
Jonas was more the extreme than he was.
Yeah.
Jonas at least had some pizzazz and charm to him.
Yeah, Joe was more the extreme. She's going
Oh,
out there and she's getting in the middle of the tornado and she's like, I don't care. Let's set it up. Man, there's a tornado like right here. The extreme one to run away. I'm just saying.
I'll stand here and chuck these damn little birdie things up in the air if it makes it get the thing to go in.
All right, well, should this movie be remade? Guys, Brian, should this movie be remade?
I think it could. To me, this is one that should be built upon instead of redone. I don't think this is one we should level the ground and kind of rebuild, because I don't think this is one that we need a franchise, so to speak. But I think we could kind of maybe extend the story a little bit.
All right, Troy.
So
Does that make sense?
He's going for the future Dr. Reeves Davis kids taking on.
God. All right, Troy.
It's really difficult because I'd love to see another movie like this with today's special effects and visual effects that could be done, because it just could be done cleaner, better. I mean, coming off a Jungle Book, you're like, gosh, what can't they do now? At the same time, it was just wow, 1996, and it's like I don't know if you can recreate that magic a second time. I think that's the hard part.
Okay, well, I will say yes, definitely remake it. And I'm also the mindset I do not want any continuation. I just want basically take some concepts from the original and make a whole new movie, because there's really not a whole lot that I think outside of the tornadoes and maybe Helen Hunt's character that is going to resonate with a lot of people. So, but let's get into our remake. But first, here's a clip from the original.
I was just wondering, why do you call Billy the Extreme?
Because Billy is the extreme.
Bill's the most out of control son of a bitch in the game.
No, I think I came in second.
I've seen the extreme in high gear.
You guys got to get some new stories.
Yeah.
I'm going to go clean up.
So, we get this one near Dalton, right?
Oh, God. We're way too close, and Joe's got the vid on it. She's filming it, right? And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this shitty-looking Green Valiant comes pulling up right in the way.
She starts yelling, and this loser stumbles out of the car. He's got like a bottle of Jack Daniels in his hand.
He's naked.
He is butt naked.
Naked.
Not naked. I was not naked.
He's without apparel.
Half naked.
Naked. So Joe's yelling at him to get out of the way, right? So he strolls up to the Twister and he says, "Have a drink." And he chucks the bottle into the Twister and it never hits the ground.
Twister caught it and sucked it right up.
Honey, this is a tissue of lies. See, there was another Bill, an evil Bill, and I killed him.
Man, I just got to say, what was extreme about that story? I mean,
Nothing.
he walked up to the tornado and he threw a bottle into it. All right, I guess he was
It
close
was
to it.
1996.
Now, if the tornado never touched the ground because it sucked up the bottle, that'd be different. But just because the bottle doesn't hit the ground doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, I guess because he was so close. That's how close he was, I guess, was the illustration. That he was right there, but that seems stupid. That doesn't seem extreme. That seems really dumb for a guy that's trained to understand tornadoes and weather patterns. You'd think he'd run.
Especially if you're naked, the debris field will just, pierce your body 10 times over.
Ow, Troy.
Ouch.
You just made this a painful remake. Okay, well, since Twister is probably eventually going to get a remake, they're not really currently in the works, but Warner Brothers has talked about one several times. But it's a little tricky because they were co-financed. So it was like a Warner Brothers Universal deal. They would have to agree to do another one. So we don't have to. We can do whatever we want. So this is Remake. If you have never listened to our podcast before, the rules are very simple. We basically take all three of our ideas and we try to come up with one cohesive movie. And there's going to be elements from the original. Maybe we go a completely different way. Maybe we go the same way. Maybe we do a continuation. You just never know how a remake's going to go. And if there are any disputes over anything and they're settled by a best of three vote, but each one of our hosts get a cut. They can, cut any time if they don't like an idea or a way the story is going, and they can, cut or replace that idea with whatever direction they feel passionate about. Let's get the ball rolling. What is your idea? How would you get the ball rolling on Twister?
Well, I'm going to be pretty lame this time around because I really like the story and the concept of the movie as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd rather just have the exact same movie just with better dialogue, better actors. And so, except for Helen Hunt, maybe. But
Academy Award winner, Helen Hunt?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. But this was before that. The concept I kind of came up with was the same kind of, the parent dying kind of situation right at the beginning. And I'm just a sucker for like those kid ensembles, like either Stand By Me or The Sandlot or even Stephen King's It in some regard. So I almost want it to be like maybe they're a younger kid, like 4 or 5 when the parent passes away. And then maybe it's like a high school science fair, and it's part of the science fair that they have to come up with the Dorothy experiment because he's trying to find out a way that other kids won't have the same effect that his father wouldn't have, and just have that cool kid team bonding concept that I think would actually be kind of neat to see how they would actually tackle this. And maybe they're trying to go up against, real life weather hunters, from the weather service or whatever. And then they actually, usurp, is that the word I'm looking for?
Sure.
The big boys, because they're just kids and they're able to do this cool thing. But otherwise, the majority of the movie is the same.
Here's what I would think. Building on that is, because I agree, I think many elements of the original are fine the way they are. It just, for the most part, I think the movie is a really, really good movie. I definitely would. I like the way that you were going with that, with the young kid whose, let's say, mother gets sucked away instead of dad. And then the kid grows into a teenager, or that the dad that survived, his dad, he's become a little bit estranged from, but his dad has become a weather chaser, like because of what happened. Meanwhile, the kid has been working on this project for a science fair. And while dad is out chasing tornadoes, I would say with his partner Joe, because maybe he can be remarried even. I just don't want any marital problems, whatever. If they're remarried, they're happily. If he's married someone else, they're happily married. And they're out chasing tornadoes, trying to get the same scientific data, hopefully to get a warning much further ahead of time. Maybe even, give an hour's notice or something to people, because I think 15 minutes just didn't sound cool enough to me. So then they go out, they're chasing, and the father never listens to the son because he's obsessed with trying to figure this out because he's already seen his wife die. Meanwhile, the son has this, I wouldn't call it, I don't know if we call it Dorothy, but whatever, the same kind of contraption. And then it isn't until the latter half of the movie where dad realizes his son has invented it, and that's kind of like a bonding moment. They finally come back together because he realizes that his son was the key the whole time into figuring this whole thing out.
I like that, kind of like Super 8-ish.
Yeah, to a degree, less aliens.
Right.
Although if you want to throw an alien in there, I'm not against it.
Who's to say a tornado isn't an alien?
Ooh.
We can't see inside of it. We don't know.
That's true. Once you get inside of it, it's just a big alien looking down going, what's up?
I just like dancing. Spinning around.
This is how I dance on Earth. Brian, what ideas do you have?
I think my idea actually could work with both of yours. My main thread here was, instead of this, we had Dorothy in Twister, which was this thing that detects how a tornado works. This stage, hey, we know how tornadoes work, right? So this is maybe a experimental tornado dismantler in some capacity. So instead of Dorothy, they call it the Extreme, which is kind of a nod to Bill Paxton's nickname. And it cripples in some capacity the ferocity of a tornado, if not totally dismantling it or stopping it. So if Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt are in this movie, whether it's in larger roles or even only cameos.
Just cameos.
Maybe
I don't see a need for them to be in it.
Right. No, I agree with you. You have them working in sort of a centralized FEMA-ish location that's maybe directing something. Whatever. Hey, we're sending you to this region of the country or that region of the country, what have you. So again, quote unquote, this Dorothy type thing. This is how to disrupt the tornado versus or dismantle it.
Which for modern day audience, I was thinking that the kids' science project in my concept would be some kind of drone technology, so that you could still get the cool inside the tornado shots, special effects, to pay homage to the original.
Yeah, exactly. It can work in both of your scenarios to where the kids are smarter than the adults. That we all love those stories.
So basically, the little kid's mom dies, and Dad becomes obsessed. Dad develops this technology to get it in the tornado, just like they did in here. They get the information, but they can't do anything. They can't figure out what to do with it. The kid's actually, for a science fair, he develops this. The Extreme is what they call it, where it's named after Bill Paxton's character, who's now working somewhere, and he's referenced. Maybe he does the cameo at the end or something. But the kid actually develops the technology that will not annihilate, but dissipate a lot of the strength of the tornadoes.
Exactly. All right. So maybe this F4 tornado can be reduced to an F2, and thereby it weakens the destruction that this thing, lays throughout its path.
I'd buy that.
Because if you chuck a liquor bottle into the tornado and it never touches the ground, that would be extreme. Same concept. The drone is now the liquor bottle, and it's trying to either stop the tornado or dissipate the tornado.
You throw it in there, and it brings down the severity of the storm through whatever technology we can come up with. Yeah.
Scientific,
electroshock,
unicorn blood stuff it's got in its system. Sure.
Well, okay. Hopefully more science than unicorn blood, but yeah, some that will kill the tornado to a degree. Not necessarily kill it, because I think if you did that, people are like, what is this, a Ghostbuster trap?
Right.
It just sucks it in?
Yeah.
Let those other guys figure that out and research this movie right.
Yeah, exactly. Let that other podcast hammer out the details. We come up with the ideas, they come up with the details. Plain and simple.
I like it. Okay, so I think we got. I think I told you that. I didn't think that was gonna be very hard. How many tornadoes do you have in this thing? Do you do what they did in this movie where you slowly build up?
97.
Now it's Sharknado. That's too many. That's way too many.
Well, I think the water-based twister has to be there because you got to get that special effect right, just to see if they can do it. Because the water-based twisters, I think, are always fun. So maybe it's situated somewhere closer to a giant body of water or a river or something. So I would say at least a water-based one. You got to have 2 gigantos, and then maybe you have some smaller ones that they kind of test out the thing on, so the kids aren't in danger. And maybe like a couple F2s.
Okay, I think we've got a collective movie here. So say grown up a character. Let's say his name still is Bill, and then you have his partner's name is Joe, because then it's a remake, But is there still a group of storm chasers that Dad and his partner Joe are working with, or his new wife Joe?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you got to have that storm chaser group.
Yeah, because I think
that's Dad.
Yeah.
That's Dad's group. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You're kind of pulling for that whole team in this movie where, you may not realize that you really like that dude with the flat top and the, weird douchebag beard that he's got going on.
Okay.
And the preacher guy, those, and the guy from the Aaron Burr commercials, but you collectively pull for every single one of these people, and you like these misfits versus the corporate black van driving techie group guys. So,
ooh, I got it. Here's the connecting tissue. So Bill, the dad, has got this team, right? So mom has died, and we have the concept of team. The team has been broken up, right? Because mom's gone. Dad is trying to figure things out, kind of forgets about the son or the daughter or whatever we want to do for the teenager side. And somewhere along the way, the storm chasing team gets killed. And it's when Dad then comes maybe back to the house. He's kind of mourning the loss of his team, that he sees his kid's science experiment in the garage. And the teenager kind of approaches him and it's like, hey, it sucks that you lost your team, but, you kind of lost your team here too. We could have been doing this stuff together. And then they start talking about the project. And then that's how they decide to move forward with the project together as father and son or daughter.
What if the kid is killed? Boy or girl, whoever.
Whoa.
Tragedy.
No.
No. Listen, hear me out. And yet the other team, the rivals, in a show of like utter respect, say, "Hey, look, all of our BS aside, I'm terribly sorry for your loss. Oh, by the way, what is that in your garage? Wow, that might be really smart. Well, you know what? My son/daughter, whoever, was working on this little project. Really, that might be our missing link to combine both what you're doing well and I'm doing well. And now we can team up and say, bam, Let's figure this massive problem out.
So in that concept, then you'd have two deaths: the mommy and the kid.
Yeah, just kill everybody.
I like the teams coming together. I don't think it needs to be there. It needs to be another death. But I guess you're trying to illustrate the damage of a tornado.
Well, especially if mom's going to die. I mean, mom's like the glue of the family. So the fact that the dad and the kid have to come together because mom's gone, you get way more heartstring credit for that. That sells more tickets.
Yeah. Hang on.
That if it's truly like dad's like completely down because his wife's dead and his kid's dead and oh my god, his life's falling apart, his team's dead, so now he's got to rely on these other misfit kids.
No, I don't want his kid to die. That's a crappy story element.
Yeah.
That's just bad.
I agree.
That would make the movie stop. And it also kind of takes away from the whole direction we were going with like 20 minutes ago. So, which we had solved. So,
okay. So recapping, mom dies in the opening. Dad makes it a mission to like figure out how to prevent tornadoes to come faster. Reunites with his partner Joe, then their storm chasing team. Meanwhile, the teenager's tackling it from a different perspective, gets his friends on a science project to build some kind of drone that could actually dissipate the tornado called the Extreme. The storm chasing team dies. Dad's upset, confides in the kid. They realize they should have been a team all along. They work together to finish the Extreme. The Extreme then goes into an F5 tornado and dissipates it completely for the big finale. From the inside. They're inside the tornado when they have to launch the Extreme.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Wayne Henderson.
That's what we needed, though. Hey, I normally do that, so you saved me a lot of breath. I like that.
Sure.
All right, so I think we got a movie. Yeah, we agree?
Yeah.
All right. Whew. What do you guys think? Who should make our movie? Who should direct it?
Do we go summer blockbuster and go Michael Bay right out of the bat?
Oh, wow. Michael Bay. Damn.
Oh,
This is going to be a Transformer at some point. I was thinking Colin Trevorrow, who did Jurassic World.
That'd be okay.
I can live with that. Yeah.
Okay. What about the characters? Based on a remake, we cast like the dad, and do you want to cast the kid or the Joe, the partner?
Dad and the kid. They're the two criticals.
Okay, so dad and son. Let's say dad and son. Father and son's always get me.
Dad and son. Father. How about all right. This is a guy that I could not get out of my head with the amount of teeth time that Bill Paxton was giving in the original Twister movie. And that is...
I know what you're talking about. So true.
And that is Walton Goggins.
Yeah. There we go. Walton Goggins. I love it.
He's got the arrogance of, you know what? He can pull off both the humbleness of, I know my gig and I know it well. I don't really care about all the hoopla around it. I don't need to be praised. I don't need to be put on a pedestal. I know weather and I know it damn well.
He's perfect
right now.
Absolutely. I'm already on board. I was on board like 5 minutes ago before you started telling me his biography. So Walton Goggins, sold. That's 2. Boom. Unless you got somebody, unless you could top that, Troy. I don't know. I got nobody. I think Walton Goggins is great.
I guess the question is, do we want to play up more of the narcissistic ass concept of the father, or do we want to play more up of the better father towards the end of the movie?
That's to both.
Both. And Walton Goggins can do both. He is great at both. Yeah, I've seen him do a lot of roles, man. He's good.
All right.
Good.
I'm fine.
Who would be our kid? I've got one suggestion, but I bet money you guys have never seen the movie I am suggesting him from. Nat Wolff from Paper Towns. Nobody.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
Can he play younger?
He's 21. Yeah, he can play younger. He can play 15, 16.
Okay.
What's like 5 years?
Fault in Our Stars too, right?
Yeah, but that's a huge 5 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
It'll only be 3.
He's 21, but he can play 14. All right.
Most people on the CW are like 28 playing 16, so he'll be fine. He's very good.
Guy that gave me a hard time about Alexander Skarsgård.
No, okay. You picked a guy that was 39 years old to play a 25-year-old. There's a big difference.
Playing the late 20s. I'm just saying, 10 years difference.
Anyway, okay. I mean, the guy's got gray hair and he's old. Anyway,
that's Isaac from Fault in Our Stars, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Yes.
Okay.
He's just a very sweet, charming kid. He has the air of someone intelligent without being arrogant, and I just think he's a good actor for that kind of part. And I think he'd bounce well off Goggins. And he kind of looks a little like him, too.
I don't have anything better. I always have a problem trying to find those 20-something actors.
Brian, you got anybody better?
No, probably not. No. I wasn't prepared for a young male actor.
That's the beauty of our movie. We made it different, but new and fresh. And there's still going to be a maximum damage, I hope. Okay, so what nostalgic moments does a remake need? As in, these are nods to the original that the remake needs. Well, here's what we came up with. We got cows. We got to have flying farm animals. It's required at some point.
Absolutely.
We don't really have to.
No, we do.
No,
it's
we
in
do.
Yeah, we decided. We do. We have to have it at some
It's
point.
only if the special effect works better.
I love it. You shut up.
It works way better at Universal Studios when you're sitting there at the ride.
When they throw an actual cow in front of you.
Exactly.
What
right.
was that? Was that an udder? That's crazy. Something important nicknamed Extreme to reference the first movie, which we have. And you've never seen it miss this house and miss that house and come after you. That line has to be in the movie. Spoken, I would assume, by the son. By the son, or maybe the dad. Either one of them can actually speak it. It's actually the only line in the entire movie that I feel is powerful. So that's got to be in a new movie at some point. Okay. Anything else on Twister? Is there anything else you guys want to add? Is there anything different you would do for the tornadoes? I mean, how many different ways can you do a tornado outside of putting amphibians and sharks and stuff in there?
What if the tanker truck explodes in the tornado and then it's like a fire tornado?
Didn't some movie do that not too long ago?
Yeah, just that last tornado movie that came out a couple of years ago with
Into the Storm or something like that?
Into the Storm, yeah, something like that. Yeah, they actually had a fire tornado, which was pretty much the highlight of the movie. So
we got to do it bigger.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be like at least an F3 fire tornado.
Oh,
I mean,
God,
maybe hits an oil refinery. What would you guys want to see destroyed? I mean, we're talking tornadoes primarily hit the Midwest. So what do you guys? We've seen tankers, we've seen cows, we've seen drive-ins. I guess what Midwestern landmark type stuff would you guys want to see demolished by a tornado? An oil refinery sounds like a great possibility.
It does. You can do an oil refinery. That's fine.
Yeah,
I don't want landmarks
in the northern Texas area, so the oil refineries would work.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
I just don't want landmarks because I don't want it to be a Roland Emmerich movie.
Right. You don't want it to be like Mount Rushmore is wiped clean by by a tornado. Like it's just okay now.
Right
now they're all cleanly shaven.
And the big reason for that is, with tornadoes, it's tricky because these are actually weather elements that have really done a lot of damage to a lot of people in their lives and stuff. So I mean, you want to tell an entertaining movie, and I think Twister did this to a degree, but you also want to respect the people that have lost a lot and have been affected a lot by tornadoes. And I'll be honest, they don't really hit inner cities. They just don't. Once in a great while, there's always an exception to every rule. But generally, in Tornado Alley, they hit the several states, and it's small towns, it's wide open spaces. That's usually where tornadoes hit. And I also actually think you can have a lot of interesting vistas and views and cool shots of tornadoes that way, because you can see a huge countryside and see how big this tornado really is. I just maybe you can have a small city that's decimated, but I don't really need landmarks. No.
Well, you could maybe pick up the ball of twine or something.
That's fine.
Out there on Route 66, and then it spins the twine around. It becomes a twine tornado.
I would watch that. I would totally pay for that.
Why is my house surrounded in string? What the crap?
The tornado just strung itself together. Now it won't ever die.
It's like a psychotic cat just raped my property.
Okay. All right. Well, let's hear one more clip from the original Twister. This is the final clip from the original Twister before it gets put down and brought back to life in our extravaganza.
Help me!
What are you doing?
Help me!
Joe, the pack's wasted! It's over!
What is wrong with you? We can still do this!
Jesus Christ, listen to yourself! You're obsessed!
You've never seen what that thing can do, so don't talk to me about it! You've never seen it! You've never seen it miss this house, and miss that house, and come after you!
Christ, Joe, is that what you think it did?
Thank God they had one great actor, Academy Award winner Helen Hunt in this movie. Okay. Whew. I think we got a movie, guys. I think Troy recapped it pretty well. Everybody agree? We're good with our movie?
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Whew.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, Troy, why don't you introduce what is coming now?
All right, coming up next, the art is slowly dying. The radio trailer doesn't exist anymore, but we here at Remake This Movie Right are pleased to bring you in movie trailer form on a podcast the vocal stylings of one Wayne Henderson from MediaVoiceovers.com. He's actually going to tell you what this movie's all about in such a cool way that you'll never, ever want to even see the movie. You'll just want to listen to the trailer over and over again because it's that great.
Studio's not going to be happy about that, but all right. All right, take it away, Wayne.
After tragedy takes his wife, Bill dedicates his life to saving others from the same fate. Reuniting with his partner Joe, a fellow storm chaser, Bill believes he might have the key to an early warning. What he doesn't know is that Bill's teenage son Philip has devised something greater, a scientifically enhanced drone that could potentially kill the very vortex of a tornado. It's a race against time as the largest weather front that Doppler has ever seen is brewing, and the clock is, ticking. Join director Colin Trevorrow as he brings a 90s classic roaring back to the screen and get ready for the most exhilarating tornado effects you have ever imagined in 3D. There will be water tornadoes. There will be fire tornadoes. There will be twine tornadoes? Wait, what the hell is a twine tornado? It doesn't matter, because this movie is going to blow you right past the Fujita scale with a whirlwind of destruction. Next summer, find a safe room and strap in. A storm is coming. Twister.
Okay, great job. Woo. As always.
Yeah.
I was blown away by that.
Oh, man, blew my hair back.
Ooh.
Yeah.
If I had hair, it would be blown back.
It would. Blew my skirt up. How many other can we throw out here? You got anything else outside of, I don't think we got anything left. There's no more gas in that tank.
Thank God.
It is burned down.
So what do you think? Did we nail it, or do you have a better pitch? Do you think you have a better idea for how to do Twister in the 21st century? I'd love to hear that. Email us your thoughts on this week's show, casting ideas, or your short pitch to remakethismovieright@gmail.com. That's remakethismovieright@gmail.com. We might mention you on the next teaser episode. Review us on iTunes, thumbs up on Stitcher, or put our RSS feed into your podcast app of choice. Remember, Wayne Henderson is available via MediaVoiceovers.com. Also does a podcast with Troy, a podcast. I'm from Brooklyn. With Troy called 112263 and Packers Fan Podcast, which comes out in the fall. Troy, where can people find you?
Those two places, as well as the blacklistexposed.com for a couple more weeks as we wrap up season 3 with Mr. Peterson over there as well.
By the time they hear this, it'll probably be over. So
it might be.
Check it out, because we were going to have a interview with the showrunner of Blacklist. So check that out, Blacklist.
Or potential runners. Got some news today.
Never mind. I got cooler news. Didn't even know it. Oh, you got the scoop, kids.
I did.
Brian, where can people find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Brian WMS, BRIAN WMS, and also on the Hollywood Outsider group page. I have no scoops here, so sorry.
All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this remake of Twister. We wanted to do a couple movies that were hitting really landmark anniversaries, and this is the second of our 2. The other one was Top Gun, which I'm sure you guys have heard, and this one. So next one, I'm not sure what the next movie's going to be, but I can't wait. It could be good. Troy, why don't you take us out? I love when you do this because you have so much enthusiasm for it.
Remember, all the movies, all of them are going to get remade someday, but only you or us can make them better. Thanks, guys.
Take care.